doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Ash and Alex are doing Scientology well.
Ash,
Alex,
we're back.
we're back. Oh my God. And I'm back from the dead, kind of, for the most part. Slowly clawing my way out of the grave. As you do, right? In this economy.
As one does.
In this
Well-
economy.
Well, Ash, right, we haven't done a podcast together in over a year. December 2023 was the last time we did anything together. And I want to first start by saying thank you to the Church of Scientology for bringing us back together again, because we weren't going to do another podcast. Our series ended. We did the Bridge to Total Freedom. We dissected it and we did our thing, and that was it. And now here we are a year later, and we are back together for one reason and one reason only.
A year and a half later, first of all. That's even
Oh
longer.
my gosh, it's
than I
May.
fucking
Yeah, a year and a half.
And it's June now.
June.
Like, what the fuck? Happy Pride Month, by the way, everybody. And I have an announcement about that is totally separate. But we talked about doing stuff. We just never, we never put that into action. And then Scientology fucking was like, you know what? They should be doing things together again. Let's write a quick little article to remind them that they are deranged partners in bigotry. Is that it?
High five for deranged partners in bigotry, Ash.
I don't know if that's a relationship status option on Facebook,
I'm
but
down.
I'm gonna petition it if it's not.
So we talked, in our series about the Bridge to Total Freedom, and we did an episode for each level, and it just got more and more insane as we went on and on. But we didn't really talk much about fair game. It's something that kind of we mentioned. People are aware that the Church of Scientology go after anybody that dares to speak about it in a negative way. Any critics, any former members are all subject to fair game, which is harassment, it's intimidation, it's smear campaigns. And, they've decided to go after me, of course, and by association, Ashley Richards.
Okay, can I just say that I have I've been kicking, I feel like this is the right wording. I've been kicking proverbial hornet's nests for literally half a decade. The podcast celebrated its 5-year anniversary this year.
Woo!
Thank you. And you know what? I just feel like if you keep fucking poking the bear and it never growls back, you're just like, you're not poking hard enough, And so when Alex sent me the article being like, Ashley, I am so sorry. Like, they're coming after you because of me. I was like, hey, you don't take all the credit. Okay. They have said that girl, she looks dangerous. And I'm excited to tell, former and current Scientologists, if it makes it their way somehow, where some of the Church of Scientology is putting its money. And before we go any further, this is going to be a podcast episode, as well as right now we're doing a live on Alex's channel, Apostate Alex, my partner in crime in Deranged Bigotry.
Deranged Bigotry. There we go.
Yes. From the Ash and Alex Do Scientology segment. Hopefully you guys listen to that. And this is That's So Fucked Up. Oh, we're like almost 5 minutes in. I feel like we're good.
We're good.
Yes. This is That's So Fucked Up, a podcast about things that make you go, ugh, that's so fucked up, like Scientology and, stuff like that. And I am your host, Ashley Love Richards. There was a quote on that, you guys, and you'll see why. Which is really fun. I'm excited about that. And Alex, I would just like to point out that I am wearing the shirt that they put on the cover of the I'm like embarrassed to show my chest because I was playing around with like temporary tattoos and now it just looks all like I have a dirty chest and I'm like all but it was really funny because well, it is Monday. No, it's Tuesday to be fair. But I guess you forgot because fair enough, it's been a year and a half, but still on Wednesdays we wear pink.
It's not a Wednesday, so I'm not
I know,
wearing
but it
pink,
doesn't.
Ash.
Whatever, Wednesdays just meant whenever you and I are together. I felt like,
Okay. Well, flunk for me on my part.
yeah. And at the time, the only thing that I had pink was this like bodysuit that I had worn to a rave, which is like, ooh, scandalous. But the thing is,
Scandalous.
I didn't even have that part showing. It just looked
So
like a tank top.
risque.
And in the picture, like they have me going like this because like I think I'm probably doing a like what the fuck, but they just like happen to pick a cute frame of me, which is super hard to do. So they worked hard on that. Where I was kind of like totally just trying to make me look like a little like teasy like slutsicle, because they're like she's a sex worker, which is I have done sex work, yes, and I would love to explain the definition of that to people because everybody's like, "Oh, so you're a prostitute, you fuck people for money." And that's not the definition. And I would
No.
like to make sure that the general public has a better understanding of what that is because if you've not done it in some form, you've paid for it in some form, trust me, have you ever been to a bachelor party? Okay, boom, there you go. And if not, then your fucking cousin does it.
Well, I think we need to give everybody listening and watching a little bit of context here, right?
You're
So
right. Like we're jumping in.
we're jumping in. Let's
Jumping in.
give them a little. Let's frame it a little bit. So we all know that Scientology goes after critics and former members.
Yes.
I'm an ex-Scientologist. For those of you new to this series, Ash and I did this big breakdown, multi-episode series about Scientology a year and a half ago, and it was fantastic. Since then, I've been working really hard as an activist, trying to call Scientology out for their abusive practices and help people escape and leave. And Scientology really don't like that, and they've been coming after me pretty hard. The Guardian, the Observer newspaper recently did a huge expose on the 10,000 attack tweets I've received in the last couple of months. My front door has been smashed in. My employer and business contacts have all received letters and emails. My family have been contacted. They are trying to intimidate and scare me into silence in any way that they can. And as a part of that, anybody who has even the slightest vague connection with me is also being brought into the fight, because Scientology's policy is to isolate every person that it's attacking so that they are no longer supported, so that they're separated from the group and have less power. And one of the ways they do that is through a front group, one of their publications called Freedom Magazine. And on their website, it literally says, this is a direct quote, "Freedom is the voice of the Church of Scientology." So there is no denying this is an official Scientology publication. And just the other day, I alerted Ash to an article that went up with the title, "Ashley Richards, Alex Barnes Ross's deranged partner in bigotry, is a sex worker."
Kind of proud of the title. We'll get into nuance. I mean, hi, look, it is not easy to get a good picture of me. It's just not. And thank you, Freedom Mag staff, because like
It is a good picture of you. You can't lie.
It's really not bad. And you know what? Thank you. Also a good picture of me. That's a pretty funny little pun, in my opinion. Welcome to my little fantasy. Punny. Okay. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of go through some of this because, well, yeah, so Alex, question. Let me just put my phone on silent real quick. How is the economy like overall in the UK?
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
answers it pretty well.
Mm.
Yeah. So like in this economy, like fuck me. So you know, maybe you experienced this as well. Actually, yeah, another question. Uh when things started, getting to a point where people were having to cut back on non-essential expenses, were your like YouTube subscriptions starting to dwindle?
Yeah, I mean, look, so you can subscribe on YouTube for free, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely, people are, cutting back on non-essential payments and things that they're paying for, and it's desperate times.
Well, I guess not your YouTube subscriptions, but don't you have like you have a paid YouTube subscription or
Yeah,
buy me a coffee or something, right?
people can be a member, they can be a buy me a coffee member, they can support the channel that way, absolutely.
And did you see a like a monetary dip in support?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I hello. I went ahead and cut some, anything that was like a non-necessary. And then I signed up for Netflix because I had to watch something and $17 a month?
Oh, it's extortionate.
I feel like my grandpa. It's like, you know what? Candy bars used to be 70 cents. When he said a nickel, but same fucking difference, It's $1.70 now. Like, get the fuck out of here. Netflix was like $6. Anywho, so a lot of people are having to as if it weren't already a thing, but like, side hustle. Patreon subscriptions were definitely something to go. It's like, of course, people are amazing and they want to support, but at the end of the day, like, I get it. Your Netflix subscription is more valuable than being able to listen to my podcast ad free. And by the way, like with weekly releases, because like if you're on the regular feed, then you're probably like, what the fuck is going on? And I'll talk about that in a very upcoming episode. But patreon.com/TSFU, if you $5 a month, if you want to, if you can, totally get it if you can't. But definitely because of some mental health issues that I was going through, and just like life struggles and things, and monetary problems, putting you in a situation where like, you're back in survival mode in your late 30s or whatever. Like, I know so many people are in the same boat where, all of a sudden you're thinking that you're going to be in this part of life where like maybe things are kind of like chill, and you're like, ooh, do I like buy food this week, or ooh, fuck it, I'm gonna get the shoes. It's like I'm not gonna say like it's made me like way more responsible. It's just, it's like maybe I eat less. But I just like, I know that I'm not the only person in that position. And I don't know if you're aware, but sex work, but and I would say not sex work, but prostitution is one of the oldest professions in the world. And prostitution is sex work that usually the connotation is that like the full service is involved. Sex work is an umbrella term for uh exotic dancer, phone sex operator. You can be an escort who doesn't even do anything sexual, but, accompanies rich men as eye candy. That is sex work. I'm sorry, you're a sugar baby and you're, hanging out with this friggin' guy so that you can get a Versace purse. You're a sex worker. You have an OnlyFans account. Even if you're just doing a little bit of bam, ba-dam, bam, you're not even showing anything. You're a sex worker. Like, people need to understand that anytime you are using your body in a sexual way to make money, yes, that is sex work. Also, people don't need to identify their entire identity by one thing they are. Like, that's why I don't agree with 12-step programs. I think that they can help a lot of people. They're also super culty, but there are 12-step programs for codependence, overeating, alcohol, drugs, whatever. And when you go to one of those meetings, you say, I'm Ashley and I'm a foodaholic. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a what? And it's like, I believe more in I'm a person and I have struggles with ADHD and complex PTSD and addiction. And I also love fucking all sorts of different music and rainy days. And people are nuanced. So I think it's funny because they were trying to go for like a PC kind of like, they didn't want to straight be like, she's a whore, because like they're trying to, they're trying to.
But also, right, guys, Scientology, hello, wake up. It's 2025, right? Lots of people have OnlyFans accounts, both as users and as contributors, right? We're not living in the dark ages anymore. It's not the 1950s, right?
Also,
People can
not
do-
everybody on OnlyFans is making like explicit pornography.
Exactly. And also, people can do what they want with their own body
Exactly.
and their own lives, right? We are in 2025. A woman has every right to, and a man and anyone else in between,
Anybody.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a right, if they want to start an OnlyFans account and post pictures that are revealing or suggestive, that show body parts or don't show body parts. That's your prerogative. That's your power of choice. And you're in control of what you put on the internet. There is zero shame in any of that anymore, right? We're in 2025.
Excellent
so
point.
Wake up, Scientology.
Yes.
Welcome to the 21st century.
I guess that also just shows that they still use that tactic, because as true 1,000% is everything that you just said, there is still shame attached and stigma attached to that shit. I saw this thing on it was a preview for some show that I'm not gonna watch, but I thought one line sounded funny. And this woman, she's a CEO, and this guy goes to her, sorry, lady, but I saw your tits on the internet and I just can't take you seriously now. And I was like, that fucking is it, though. Like, that's true. It's ridiculous, but it's still the society that we live in, unfortunately, which grows even further every day and a day with people like Andrew Tate, which we will get into. Which I'm excited. I'm so excited to like tell you about. So,
I think that they are just pulling at strings here because they are trying to sever any connections I have to anybody that's involved in my activism. And by doing that, by attacking everybody and anybody I'm connected with, they're trying to isolate me and paint me as a discredited source because I associate with all of these nefarious and horrible, deranged bigot people, right? And it's like, well, actually, no. Ash and I haven't done a podcast in a year and a half. And now here we are making content about Scientology once again because of this article. So thank you again, Church of Scientology, for bringing us back together again. And what we're talking about here is empowerment. You are able to create content that you want to create. You have done that. There is no shame. And yet Scientology is still trying to paint it as this negative, horrible thing to try and make you seem like this horrible person, which, by the way, you are not.
Thank you. And the amazing thing though is that yeah, no shame in working in the adult entertainment industry at all. It is just not something that, as I got behind the scenes on the platform and started observing things from a, like, BTS perspective, I started feeling like my little red flags started going up, my spidey senses, and so what I was gonna say is, we were talking about in this economy, and for quite a while now, I've been really trying to understand the plight of men. Um, the incel culture gets stronger by the day. The lack of empathy and understanding between men and women is getting kind of stronger all the time, and I really wanted to be one of the people who doesn't just, get on my show and go, "Fuck incels," because I understand that things are nuanced and people are a product of, like, I watched a documentary on neo-Nazis and saw that these people that I just fucking hated for everything that they believed in and did were scared little boys who never had a fucking chance to have any sort of other education or belief or even kind of question implanted into them until they were faced with a Muslim woman who they fucking really liked as a human. And it was like, like it broke their brain. Whereas incels, I understood because I could see the things in society that had happened that led to where we are. And I could understand the feeling of being angry over feeling rejected or fucked over by a certain group over and over. But the more I looked into just like the alpha male culture and how it relates to religion and politics and all this fucking just like, oh my God, like the internet just blew my mind, you guys, and be careful because it can like break you. Um, um, like, the less I could just feel compassion, because it's just like at the end of the day, at the root of what you're feeling is a sense of entitlement to the fact that I'm a woman and you're a man, and therefore you should have some sort of autonomy over me. And like as I got into the OnlyFans, because I decided, hey, I want to be a space, because I see that men turn to these forums on Reddit and, God forbid, 4chan and Andrew Tate and stuff, because there's not really seemingly a space where men can go to be vulnerable. And this is a problem. Men commit suicide at a much higher rate. There's all kinds of systematic issues and things that I don't think are okay that are fucked up. But at the end of the day, when somebody told me something about fucking smiling, I was like, I will, murder you. So like I'm not gonna be the one to like change this. And then people were like also like, well, Ashley, you can't go be like ethical on an unethical platform, because something that I don't think a lot of people realize is that when you think that you're talking to the creator, you're talking to a robot or somebody in a different country, usually a dude, let's be honest. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. Like these people are fucking giving their money to connect and they're getting scammed. And, to be honest, I went like a little evil villain for a little while after, like, I was like, that's not cool. And I was like, actually, fuck them. But like, I had already shut down my account by then. Because like, I saw behind the scenes of the platform and just like how exploitative it was. And the first thing that kind of like really dinged my spidey sense was I hadn't done any marketing because I was like very, very unsure about what I wanted to do, because at the end of the day, like my gut was telling me I didn't want to do it. But you know, girls got bills to pay, and I don't think there's anything wrong with doing you know, sex work, as long as you do it in an ethical way that feels good to you. And I understand for many people it's empowering. That's not how I felt about it. Because you know, go and brush your shoulders off. Like, there are so many people that just want to be like, ha ha, fuck you. Because they're like, Ashley, whatever, just put your tits on the internet, make some money. Nobody's going to recognize your tattoos. And I was like, okay, I know that you like, I'm not famous. So you don't think that like anybody is like watching me and giving a fuck and trying to like just waiting for me to fuck up and dox me. But like, haha, yes, they were. Because somebody joined before I had marketed. And I was like, hey, who is this? Like, I figured it was somebody I knew. And they read the message and didn't respond. And I was just like, sketch. Like, it felt very weird to me that you would. Where the fuck did you find me? Why did you, if this is Scientology, give me $12.50?
This is what I wanted to say, right? So OnlyFans is a platform that it's not like Twitter or X as it's now called, or YouTube, where you can just follow and subscribe people for free, right? You have to
Well, you
pay.
can. You
Right.
can. Some people have free pages.
Did you have a free page or did
Yeah.
you have to pay? So your page, you had to pay for the content. So you couldn't see anything that you'd posted unless you'd paid, and you said it was $12.50, right? So
Well, it was $25, but it was half off for the first month because it's
okay.
very sad. Girls over there just be charging nothing to show everything. And
Okay. So $12.50, right? Scientology have paid $12.50 to see your content. And we know this because they posted pictures from from your channel on
so you
OnlyFans in
can
the Freedom
see
magazine.
that first page.
Right.
That is like that's like my welcome page that we'll
That they
take a
share.
look at, because
Okay.
um uh yeah, so we don't know, you know, allegedly, you know, we'll say that, since I don't get it, because I feel like they're just like libeling and slandering all over the place, but somehow like you have to be really careful about what you.
It's so compassionate and kind and, church-like, their behavior, isn't it?
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Beautiful. So uh so I got behind the scenes though, and like I said, I have no problem with sex work and people who have an OnlyFans. But at the end of the day, I do actually like really, really give a shit about, um, you know, I don't really like people telling me, hey, trust me. I'm like, no. Like, don't fucking tell me that. Prove it to me, you know? So, like, I don't expect people to fucking just be like, yeah, cool. If I say that, like, I investigate shit and, you know, that, like, I consider myself a journalist more than a storyteller. I mean, both, but, like, for, you know, the first few years, like, I very much just, like, did research and thorough research and then said what I found out. But you know, content is deeper and weirder and less consistent and stuff now, because it's like a different approach that I've taken, because there's so many things that I'm like, sorry, what? And so I found that there's a OnlyFans has a thing called OnlyFans TV that's sort of like YouTube. It's like a little streaming platform where creators can put up short videos on whatever. But their guidelines are very strict, like not safe or safe for work. It's for creators to show that they have like a different side than just sexual. So at first I was going to be like anonymous and faceless, and then I was like, that's ridiculous, Ashley. Like, you have a lot of tattoos, you have blue hair, like you're not like a blend in with the crowd kind of gal, you know. And then I said, well, fuck, you shouldn't be doing anything that you feel ashamed of anyways, and definitely not on the internet. So you don't have to say like, what's up, guys, I'm starting an OnlyFans, but like, you know, just like you can have like a subtle connection, and you're not going to deny it, but you don't necessarily need to like promote it. And so I was going to have like a alter ego named Piper Peaks. And I was going to make a little joke that like my twin, wink wink nudge nudge, started an OnlyFans, you know, because like I'm like I'm very non-sexual on the show. Like, I don't talk about sex related stuff at all. Like, one of my co-hosts, Kristen, will read me like excerpts from like smutty books, and I'm like, oh my god, that was like I'll start like blushing because I'm like, oh my gosh, that is spicy. But the the OnlyFans TV, I thought, oh, well, that would be like a really cool way to market, especially because like I'm not going to be doing explicit content. Like, I was going to do like sexy cosplay and like have people be able to like vote on like what I would do next. And I'm still going to do cosplay because it sounds fun and I like to dress up. And I saw these girls that they were all obviously not like just like regular gals making stuff from their house. It was like all very represented from agencies, curated or whatever. And a bunch of them were friends, and a bunch of them said that they lived in Bali. And I almost got trafficked from Bali when I was 21. I didn't realize that until a few years later, but like I got offered by a young girl, which is very disarming, to fly to one of the neighboring islands, and I could model for a little bit and make bank. And I called my uncle and asked him if I could borrow money for a plane ticket. And he was like, nah, like, I don't like the sound of that. Maybe he said you're going to get trafficked, or maybe he had that inkling. I don't remember. But thank fucking God he said no, because I don't, you know, if I was live right now, I don't know where the fuck I'd be. And I just got like I get like real like spidey senses, and I was just like, this doesn't feel good, because they're all really young too. Oh, and then there's one, her name was like something fucking super racist, like Asian Lily or something, and she was also in Bali, and I was just like, I got like very sus trafficking vibes. And then I was like, I should probably just like do a quick dig into, you know, what kind of trouble, if any, this company has been in. And it's like CSAM, which is like a child sex act material. If anybody doesn't know, CP, child corn, is no longer like what you're supposed to say, because it implies consent on the child's part, which is obviously not. So CSAM, that was like reported and then left up for too long, and the offenders like not kicked off the site for like after multiple warnings, which why not just one? Like, what the fuck? Trafficking victims being reported, just like very lax moderation. And then I looked into other sites that do like a similar thing, like Loyal Fans, Fansly, FanView, there's all kinds. And they don't have scandals like that, but everybody does OnlyFans because they have the biggest user base, and that's what, you know, everybody does. And I was just so fucking delighted because I want to share my screen really quick.
And also, let's not forget that we have a situation now where the Church of Scientology have paid to access your page. Thank you for the money, I'm sure you'll say, to the Church of Scientology.
Mhm.
Do the Scientology parishioners know that their donations are being used to pay for OnlyFans? I guess not. But most importantly, perhaps, is that they are now promoting your channel. So thank you, Scientology, for promoting your page. Free marketing.
Well, the beautiful thing is that because of my own moral compass, and because a motherfucker had the audacity to say some shit to me about women smiling, and I was just like, you don't have the patience for any of this. Like, no. And because, like, one of the things I wanted to, like, offer is that, like, a lot of y'all kind of essentially, like, without saying that, or like being lied to, that you're like being sold an authentic connection with, like, these creators. And, like, if I'm gonna have like a page, like, you'll talk to me. And then I was like, I'm if you look at my like phone, like everything's like red circle, like communication is literally like the biggest stress in my life. Like
It's
my
overwhelming.
ADHD is so fucking like bad. And I just like messaging, and it's just like way too much for me. And so there were like a plethora. So there were just like a plethora of reasons that I was like, yeah, I'm not down with like working with this fucking company at all. And again, no shade to anybody that does, like, fuck, wait, just like, yeah, if you also work for Walmart or Amazon or like, we all work for the fucking devil, it's whatever. It is what it is. Make that bag, y'all. In this economy, I just couldn't do it because of the fact that, like, here was the golden ticket too. It goes, in 2023, Andrew Tate got in trouble for like camming, blah 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 blah, and OnlyFans. And I was just like, I could imagine the incel trolls just being like, look at this dumb fucking bitch who talks shit on Andrew Tate all the time and then made an OnlyFans. Because like obviously Scientology went for a very similar angle. Social justice warrior by day, fucking whore by night. It's like, also, I looked into it, and like my OnlyFans was going to be R-rated, which is like, I don't think I would have done well. I was like, I don't really want to show anything. And then I did like a little check, and I didn't go that deep, but I've never seen Eyes Wide Shut. But like most of, or how many people in Hollywood work in Scientology?
A fair number.
How much fucking sex and lewd, crude content is in media? Sex
Well,
sells.
Ash, are you ready for the cherry on top from my opinion on this whole debacle, right?
Yes.
So Scientology are trying to paint you as this deranged partner in bigotry, this sex worker that shouldn't be trusted or listened to because sex work is so dirty and having an OnlyFans is the most shameful thing you could ever do on the planet. Well, perhaps Scientology should look a little bit more inwards because this is an article from the Times newspaper, one of the most prestigious and well-respected newspapers in the world. Conspiracy theorist hotelier John Mappin offers discount for anti-vaxxers. This is a whole nother story. John Mappin is a very controversial figure. He has this castle in Cornwall here in the UK called Camelot Castle. He flew a literal flag with the letter Q on it because he's a QAnon supporter. Big
Hmm.
controversial conspiracy theory person that we should do a whole episode on, to be honest, anyway. But this article goes on to talk about how this guy, who, which is why it's relevant, is a Scientologist and a very wealthy Scientologist who donates lots of money to the Church of Scientology, used to be a soft porn actor. I'm going to read a quote here. Mappin, 55, who is a Scientologist, was educated at Winchester College and is a scion of the Mappin and Webb jewelry family. Mappin and Webb, by the way, are the crown jewelers who make the crown for the king. He had a short-lived career as a soft porn actor before becoming a commodities broker and bought the hotel about 20 years ago. So,
Nice.
Scientology, if you've got issues with people being sex workers, maybe you should look in the mirror and do something about the sex workers that are paying you money and proudly publicizing the fact that they're Scientologists.
Can
Mic
you
drop.
go ahead and pull up their their article on me again, please, too?
Absolute. With pleasure, Ash. With
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Here it is.
I love when people think that things are gonna piss you off and you're actually like, actually, that's perfect. Thank you. Because also, I was kind of thinking of a way to explain to my peeps why this year, like the release schedule and everything has been, kind of chaotic. I was like, how do I just kind of like randomly drop that? And also, how do I randomly drop the fact that I'm going to be doing some like big expose into OnlyFans and Andrew Tate, because I started an OnlyFans because like, finances have been rough, because like there have been some struggles with addiction. Oh no, Scientology. Ooh, burn me at the stake for that. You all are fucking I'm sorry. I just remember how like Danny Masterson like brutally raped a bunch of women, and then I was like, okay, I don't really care if I have ADHD and I like Adderall.
And how Scientology were part of that, covering it up. Claire Headley testified as an expert witness on Scientology, and it was found that Scientology covered up Danny Masterson's crimes. So if they're going to call people out for this sort of stuff, they need to really start looking from within. This is the reason we speak out against it, because it's against their abusive practices.
It's just the hypocrisy is like, it makes my nose hurt because of how stinky it is.
Well
Article,
said.
bring it up again, please, because I want to line by line these motherfuckers. Okay, so please scroll down. So let's see. Okay, down. She goes by Ashley, quote, Love Richards. So my name is Ashley Love Richards. My father's name is James Love Richards, the something. My grandfather's name is James Love Richards. And I'd have to dig into some genealogy, but several generations before that were named James Love Richards. And I will actually be the last Love Richards. So they also, okay, well, let's get to the by day she presents herself as a true crime podcaster. I love that they credit me with a degree, with a BA in broadcasting and electronic communication arts from San Francisco State University.
Oh no, she's educated. She's educated. Run away.
Look at this fucking idiot presenting herself as a podcaster with a degree in broadcasting. Okay. Richards claims, by virtue of her YouTube account, that she is a quote journalist. So the fact that they couldn't even fucking like do a simple check to see that my real name is Ashley Love Richards, and the fact that Yeah.
Ash, they totally did, right? And this is how they operate. They have private investigators that they spend millions of dollars on, that dig into every single one of us, right? And they know the facts. They are presenting it in a way that raises an eyebrow because they want to make you. It's called dead agenting in Scientology, right? The policy is called dead agenting, and it means to isolate you, to ostracize you from the community, ostracize you from everybody, so that you're seen as a discreditable, unreputable, untrustworthy person that nobody should listen to. So they
They look so
absolutely, I can assure you they know that your real name is Love Richards, but they're putting it in quote marks because it sounds scandalous. And they know that you're a journalist. They've even quoted the degree that you did, which is a journalism
I
degree.
know, it just
right?
makes them look like terrible, not at all journalists.
They know the facts, but they are deliberately misconstruing them and misrepresenting them to paint you as an enemy, as this horrible criminal person, as a deranged partner in bigotry.
Which I love. I mean, that's creative wording too, honestly. Like, good for them on that one at least. Wait, hold on. Go down a little bit. It's like no, sorry, up. I mean, sorry. Ashley believes that they try to make this sound like this is something I said about like OnlyFans. Making content with other creators with similar values is one of the most vital resources she has available to create change.
Shock horror. Jeez. What a
So,
horrible person you sound like.
kind of what I was referring to, because I think they took that probably off of my website. I think they maybe went to 2 different websites, and that's where they got their info. But I did say that because I do believe that, because look at Alex and I here from 2 very different worlds, not only like, you know, UK, USA, Scientologist, ex-Scientologist, just kind of like motherfucker who likes to piss people off. And sorry, are we not like creating content together to like provide resources? I don't know.
Exactly. And try to
I feel like
change
they're just like confirming the
the point. Yeah. But look how they present it. I love this here, right? Meanwhile, in one of the spin-offs of her That's So Fucked Up podcast, Ash and Alex volley mutual bigotry under the guise of commentary, even while Ash readily admits, I've never grown up with any religion in my life whatsoever at all, and I don't know shit about Scientology. Of course, that hasn't stopped her from spewing vile anti-Scientology hate. Do you see how they spin that? Do you see how they spin it from you wanting to create social change and us working together in a collaborative way to effect change and provide support and resources and fucked up stories about Scientology, holding them to account? And they've completely twisted it into you spewing, volleying mutual bigotry under the guise of commentary. It's shameful what they're
Also,
saying.
the funny thing is, I've never grown up with any religion in my life. To me, that says that I'm walking into these situations without any bias. I haven't had
Exactly.
any ideology hammered into me. Also, I don't know shit about Scientology. Yeah, I probably said that in the first fucking episode when I didn't know shit about Scientology. And if somebody said, yeah, I know about Scientology, when they didn't know shit about Scientology, I would say, well, I don't fucking trust you, because people, like, I just feel like they're just like, thank you. It's just like compliment after compliment. It's really funny.
And also, right, think about it this way, right? If you're somebody that doesn't know anything about Scientology, allegedly, your now first interaction directly with the Church of Scientology is a hit piece, a smear campaign, calling you a bigot, a deranged partner in bigotry, right? It doesn't exactly leave the best first impression, does it?
I'm like, so when's the next meeting? Can't wait to come say what's up. Y'all seem friendly as shit. Super welcoming.
Anywho,
Let's
this article.
let's keep line by
You
line
want to
again.
keep going on? All right,
Oh
let's
yeah.
go.
Oh yeah, because I mean, yeah. But as it turns out, Richards has 2 platforms, one for podcasts and one for porn. Also, like, I want to say that, like, how many Scientologists are jacking off literally right now because masturbation is a super normal human thing. Anywho,
Also, I refer back to John Mappin, who is a Scientologist who was educated at Winchester College and a scion of the Mappin Webb jewelry family. He had a short-lived career as a soft porn actor before becoming a commodities broker. I'm
right?
going to keep I'm going to keep repeating that quote for very
Oh.
good reason.
Elizabeth Moss in The Handmaid's Tale. She was in a lot of scenes where some simulated graping was going on. So it's just like, all right, you know, okay, anyways, whatever. They're hypocrites, we know it. Because by day, Richards drops the social justice veneer and sells adult content under the moniker The Piper Peaks Experience on OnlyFans, an account that comes complete with banner image of Richards bent over in a leopard print thong, rear and crotch prominently displayed for subscribers. Look, y'all, that's one of the most tasteless rear and crotch pictures I've ever seen. Okay. And it's really funny because, like, I feel like in business wise, except for like the fucking ADHD, it's ruining my life. But like, I know podcasting pretty well, but when it came to running an OnlyFans business, I could not transfer the skills, even though they were similar. Like, I would never tell a content creator to start a Patreon unless they knew what they were offering at every tier exactly. And I was kind of like, it was really lucky. Somebody asked me, like, so, like, what are you selling and why? And I was like, well, first it just started about money, but then it became really hard to be ethical and make money. And now I don't know why, because I want to cosplay. Oh, I guess I could just do that.
Ash, you're wrong. It's because you want to be paid to promote bigotry. Clearly.
Yes. No, well, I mean, at the end of the day, right. So, wait, sorry, back to the article. So, Richards was last seen running a flash sale. Yeah, because that's like, if you look at different
That's called
marketing
basic
techniques
marketing.
for different,
Yeah.
I mean, for, you know, um, and then it just like quotes my like my fucking
Profile.
whatever welcome page, which like nothing I'm ashamed of here. I think it's pretty funny. Welcome to my little fantasy where
That was
nice
quite funny.
guys always finish first, sometimes twice. That's hilarious. Because, you know, there's the saying, nice guys always finish last. My whole thing was like, no, fuck,
You don't
like,
you don't
nice
need to
guys are
explain it,
cool.
Ash. We get it.
All right, whatever.
It was a good pun.
And I said, come for the tits, stay for the trauma bond. I'm not gonna lie, ChatGPT made that up, and I thought it was pretty hilarious. Let's see. OnlyFans, a subscription-based content platform launched in 2016, is overwhelmingly dominated by sex workers and those like Richards attempting to profit off personalized pornography. Yeah, again, don't see anything wrong with this. Okay, I love this. This is a cute little Photoshop. It says, scroll down, please. Ashley Richards has been enthusiastically and tirelessly working to become a knowledgeable and respected professional.
Oh no.
That's
What a
where they
horrible
fucking
sounding
end
person.
it. No. But my website says Ashley's been enthusiastically and tirelessly working to become a knowledgeable and respected professional in the world of cults, coercion, and control and crime for nearly 4 years.
That's what they cut out? They cut out the cults and coercive control reference?
I
didn't know that. That's huge.
yeah. And then if you scroll down a little bit, a little bit, scroll down,
Sorry,
scroll down.
I just need a moment. Like, they actually photoshopped the part. So they said Ashley has been enthusiastically and tirelessly working to become a knowledgeable and respected professional. And they put this in the little Photoshop picture on this article to make it sound like you're, you know, discredited and you're this person that's by day this professional and by night you're this, you know, sex worker or however they want to phrase it. But actually, the professional, what comes after that is you saying you're taking down cults and coercive groups. That's fucking hilarious.
And then in the next line, it says, it repeats, Ashley straight-faced declared on her website, Ashley has been enthusiastically and tirelessly working to become a knowledgeable and respected professional, period. Is that legal? Because I'm sure that has to end with a ...
Well, also, it says, given the above, it is unclear which profession Richards refers to when she delivers the following straight-faced declaration on her website.
Oh, which is a lie too.
That's a bold-faced lie, because that sentence completes by saying professional, you know, what was it you said? Like in taking down cults and coercive groups. Like, you make it clear which profession you're in.
In the respected professional in the world of cults, coercion, and control.
So you make it clear which profession. This is a bold-faced lie. Given the above, it is unclear which profession Richards refers to.
They also didn't reach out to me for comment.
Freedom reached out to Richards for comment. As of publication, we have received no reply. They didn't even bother.
Oh, wait. Sorry, my bad. I don't check my email. Hold on. Dear Miss Richards, we write because of your association with Alex Barnes Ross, a notorious bigot and stalker harasser of women. You guys, I'm not gonna lie, Alex has just consistently throughout our, you know, almost 2-year relationship, just really scared me with his stalking and harassing. It appears that you have chosen to participate with Mr. Barnes Ross in presenting hateful, anti-religious material, which makes you a figure of legitimate public interest. Whoop, whoop! Thank you, Scientology. Honestly, I've been waiting for the day. We also note that you have been selling adult content to subscribers via an OnlyFans account from which you attempt to obfuscate. Yep, your true identity. In recent days, it appears that you have attempted to delete and erase it from the internet. We have screenshots of the content of this account as well as its promotion. You guys, I would actually love to share the screenshots. Hell, I'm going to put them on social media. I look good and it's classy, okay? Because I'm a classy bitch.
So here we have a church or a group that claims to be a church threatening you.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Just wanted to be clear about that. Just, yeah.
We are preparing an article because we have observed that Barnes Ross frequently associates with a band of disreputable individuals and criminals. And our next article will feature your role in his life and his hateful efforts. As we prepare that article, do you have any comment about your OnlyFans account or your relationship with Alex Barnes Ross? Regards, Josh Blosser. Ooh, Josh, you're my next target for investigation. What's been going on, Josh? I'd love to know what's in your past. Digging for skeletons. What's that in your closet? Sorry, I just got excited. I didn't know which one it was going to be because it's only written by the Freedom staff on the article. What a fantastic journalist. Also, I honestly could not be more tickled that they wrote this on the 30th because I'm going to share my screen really quick because I would love to share y'all or show you something that I posted on my Patreon on May 27th. And you know, my patrons, a lot of them have been supporting me for like years. It's crazy. I love you guys. What? Who are you? I love you. And I felt like I wanted to explain to them like what had been going on in life with not only me, but like events, circumstances, all kinds of shit. And Okay, I just love this. Okay, here we go. Let me pull that page up. And then share my screen. Nope. So, on May 27th, I released an episode called What the Fuck is Up? Date, Intense Investigations, and OnlyFans Insanity and Addiction Struggles. Oh my. By the way, Scientology, go ahead and rain on my parade about addiction struggles. I've literally talked about that since like I don't know, the day I started the podcast. It's funny because like they want to shame me about some shit that I'm just like,
If you were ashamed by it, you wouldn't talk about it on your podcast. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. And that's at the end of the day, like, you know, why I kept being really hesitant about doing OnlyFans, not only because little red flags kept popping up, but I was just like, I just don't think I want that on the internet. And that's just like a personal preference. So, this is actually Jack Scrafton is somebody missing in Denver, Colorado, and I'd love to make an announcement about that before we end the episode. But here we've got you guys, that was my first cosplay, and no, I'm not Harley Quinn. I'm Pennywise from It. And it was kind of funny because I just I had kind of a serious update, and I thought it would be kind of funny to loosen it up and be like just clowning around. I love a pun. But here you'll see I have a quick rundown of the CSAM trafficking issues on OnlyFans, the role of OnlyFans in human trafficking, multiple OnlyFans accounts featured suspected child sex abuse, investigator reports. Andrew Tate and brother Tristan lose £2.8 million court case over unpaid tax claims from online businesses, including OnlyFans. My 20-minute update to my patrons explained that I was going to start an OnlyFans. And once I got more into the platform behind the scenes, because it's not really always easy to see what's going on from the outside, right? It's like, ooh, it's shit, but it's glittery. And I don't think there's anything wrong with inherently wrong with people who engage as a consumer or a provider of sex work. I just think that the industry, unfortunately, tends to be often very exploitative and kind of but I love that Scientology was like social justice warrior, quote, journalist by day and like porn slinger by night. It's like, first of all, if I am a porn slinger, who the fuck cares? Second of all, 3 days before you called me out for, kind of working with an unethical platform, I announced with receipts that I said, I'm actually not going to be working with this platform because it's unethical. And instead, I'm going to be making people publicly aware of the systematic problems going on within it. So,
Well, also,
Scientology.
Well, also, let's think about this. Thanks to Scientology for bringing us back together again, and maybe this is the signal that we needed to start making more content together again. And maybe let's turn this
Let's
around.
start making porn on our own website.
I mean, I'm gonna I'm going to pass on that one, Ash, but thanks so much for the offer. But what I am up for is maybe we should do some content about the human trafficking, about this John Mappin guy who's a soft porn actor that's a Scientologist. Maybe we should turn this around and really highlight this harassment, this extortion, and this intimidation that Scientology are engaging in, because
Also, what's his
that's a
name?
topic we wouldn't have covered otherwise. But
The guy
now
who
they've
wrote the
targeted you.
article.
Bring it on.
Let's dig into him. I'd love to
I'm
find
game.
out a little bit more about that guy. And speaking of well, you know, Scientology like hates LGBTQ AI plus community. That's like a sin in their world, right? Yeah. So in another fuck y'all, I would love to take this opportunity while we have a bigger audience. And I know that some of y'all are in Denver. I'm going to share my screen again. I've recently become involved in the case of a missing trans woman here in Denver, Colorado. Her name is Jax Grattan, born Jack Grattan, but that's just for any identifying information, but Jax Grattan. There were a lot of initial reports going around that she is 5'8" with reddish hair. She's actually about 5'10", 5'11", about 150 pounds, with kind of like dark brown hair that's going to go into a lighter kind of dishwasher blondie brown. Last seen wearing clear kind of aviator style glasses, and some patterned yoga pants. I have an episode coming out later today with some more details. Jax was last seen leaving their apartment, saying that they were going on a date and would be back in a few hours, although Jax was not wearing what Jax would be wearing to go on a date. Jax is 34, extremely beloved by can you stop at that picture? That is what Jax looked like the last time that they were seen. That's the last footage of Jax right there. So black and white, vertical striped shirt, patterned kind of yoga pants, a type of camo jacket, a lot of tattoos, which I will also put pictures of up. Last seen in Denver, Colorado on April 15th. So almost, I'm bad at math, but way too long. No money has been touched in the bank accounts. There's been some sightings, but nothing that has led to anything. And she was a big part of the, hair and makeup and beauty community, the recovery community, especially AA, the EDM, electronic dance music scene. And that's about all I have to say about that. We will put information in the show notes, where you can call if you have a tip line, or there is a tip line. There's a website. Bring home Jax Grattan. Let me just make sure I have that up. There are yes, bring home Jax, JAXGratton.com. there are flyers you can print there. People have put up flyers in Florida, all over the place. I actually saw stuff on Facebook, and then I was in a town over and saw a flyer in a window. And after seeing, a lot of times there's some statistic that people don't take action about something until like 7 fucking times or something. And so, grassroots, old school fucking flyers and windows and on posts and posting on Facebook and all of that is super helpful. One missing person is too many. Jax's mom and family is I can't imagine the position that they're in, the amount of stress and pain, and any help is appreciated, and even if that help is just sharing. And Alex, we can clip this part too, so it's a little bit more shareable. But I'm working on making some social media posts and stuff too. But Alex, thank you for sharing your platform, because mine's a little bit smaller, and if anybody out there is listening and knows a true crime podcaster, YouTuber, anybody who could possibly help, please reach out.
Let's bring Jax home.
Yeah. It's like, that victim that like lit up the room, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, let's
she
do what
was
we can as a
pretty bad.
community to unite and find Jax. Shall we look at some of these comments as we've been going along here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then-
I would love to.
Alrighty. So let's have a look. Irish Mart is here saying hi, Alex and Ash. Juliana Bittencourt saying, yay, they're back. Patrick is here saying TSFU gang in the house.
Woo! Hi guys.
Becky Big Brother fan. If you're getting fair gamed, you know you're doing something effective against Church of Scientology.
Alex made my day. You were like, hey, sorry. I was like, what? You just made my week.
Julia here says, girl, your podcast is better than Netflix.
I don't know why I'm like so phobic of like interacting with people. They're generally, for the most part, so nice.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? This is an attack from the Church of Scientology, and it's brought us together as a community. It's given us an opportunity to talk about finding Jax. It's given us an opportunity to call Scientology out for their bullshit, and it's given us an opportunity to start making more content about them. So this is all their own doing, Scientology. Thank you. So
I
thanks.
know.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so funny. It's
Becky Big Brother fan, whatever you were doing or not, whatever you were or were not doing, Ashley, the Church of Scientology would have spun it to sound so as nefarious as possible. Yeah, that's the thing. There's no winning with these guys.
and it's just like, dog, maybe try to like real quick look at what you've been doing, and then
Yeah, John Mappin. Yeah. Witness Ash, they always smear the women with that, in quotes, shame.
There's
There's a pattern of behavior here that I think we need to expose.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit didn't want to share the article, because like I was like, it's like it works, but then you just got to go, no, fuck you. And so I got over
Bring
that.
it on. Bring it on.
Mhm.
Witness also says, you're brave to tell this story, Ash. Thank you. I agree.
Thank you.
Max Mir Dokagol says, so they paid you to shame and fair game you. That's embarrassing.
Right? Like, thank you for the free publicity. Like, literally not viable.
Witness says, Ash, if you're cool with it and it is 100% legal, then it could be harassment by gang stalking. That is organized and coordinated from the cult/church, in my non-lawyer opinion. Yeah, they're building their own case against them. Lupita says,
keep building.
Lupita says, Church of Scientology is a bully that claims to be bullied. When it serves their purpose, you are an adult. You don't have to explain to anyone your personal life.
Right. And honestly, the only reason I am is because I wanted to give some background into the fact that I'm reporting on OnlyFans from an inside perspective. And I wasn't going to be like, so guys, I decided to get wild and go undercover. Like, I was like, just be real. Like, you are broke because the economy fucking blows and everybody knows it. And there's nothing wrong with like sex as long as you do
Exactly.
it ethically. I just didn't, for me, didn't
From
feel
a
right.
Brian Lucas says it's like Ash is some type of superhero with a secret identity.
You guys are like making my day. Thank you.
Liz Gale here, another very famous ex-Scientologist. She's saying they literally tried to extort you. I love your take on this, Ash. It's great.
Thanks, you guys. My goodness.
Mashmir Dockagall says they're pissed you can't just be controlled by shame like they used to. Sucks for them. And finally, Danielle Chamberlain, the wonderful Danielle. Oh dear, we are such discreditable and criminal associates of yours, Alex. I know. What a horrible bunch of people we are, supporting each other and making content together to try and help people escape and leave the abusive cult that is Scientology. How dare we?
I'm excited to be a part of this club, you know?
You're
Like,
officially an SP now. You're a suppressive person.
am I?
They only go after people they consider enemies. So for them to fair game you, that means they consider you an SP.
That's
Welcome
a
to the
fucking
club.
badge of honor. Alex, do you remember when I was like, when do I get a hate site?
Well, now you've got one.
And
Let's go.
you just got one, right? That's like, they got to be pretty pissed off for that. I don't even care if they're like a little bit pissed off. Like that is such a win. I'm just like, look at you actually making moves. So
Brendan saying, Ash, you're the bravest. And Liz Gale here saying, I'm definitely going to TikTok about this because it's wild and so done with them. I don't know if you're aware.
oh
Liz
my
Gale
God,
has like
thank God, because I'm so bad at social media. Please
Liz
help
Gale has like
me.
100 and something thousand followers on TikTok. She's huge.
Thank
You
you.
should
Thank you,
collab. I'll
Liz.
introduce you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm back. Well, you know, I'm coming back. I'm making my way. Like I said in the beginning, I'm crawling my way out of the dirt. But as you do, luckily I've done it a bunch of times, and I have like a little bit of faith in myself this time. Partly because of this like incredible community that you know, I have here, and my patrons and my team, and just like hashtag blessed, you know.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Ash, for doing yet another episode of Ash and Alex Do Scientology. It's great to be back, and I can't wait for the next one.
We did it so well. We'll do it again soon. Thank you guys. I want to be like, reach out, but I don't know. I'm really working on the correspondence thing. Reach out anyways, though. Join the Discord, or I don't know, TSFUthepodcast.com. That's where like all that shit should be. And I'm trying.
We got it. Over and out.
Over and out. Bye.
Doing it and